Greetings and welcome to this episode on Geeks First. Apologies for the delay, first and foremost. I know it has been a decent chunk of time since our last video. Technically, it's actually been precisely 30 calendar days since our last release, which was on the 6th of May. And that is really because life has been pretty busy. I've had some personal things go on. I've kind of been dealing with some stuff, and there just hasn't been enough news that I deemed noteworthy to release a quick video. Granted, even if I would have really had the time, it actually would have, I guess in my opinion, it wouldn't have been as good a quality just given some of the things. So I apologize for my absence for the last 30 days, but there has been a significant portion of my life spent on working for my day job, getting some things lined up in my personal life cleaned up. I have to basically vacate an entire building worth of items and move those to another facility. So there's just some life things happening, and life happens, and I hate to say it, but I do love making content. But at a certain point, you got to be an adult, and I had to choose to be an adult. So we're gonna go ahead and catch up on some items that I feel are noteworthy since the last video I made. I know that there's been plenty of again, sorry. I know why I'm not doing this on video is because I look like shit. Apologies, but that's just the honest truth of it. I had some medical tests ran, and that was some fun. Maybe sometime later I can explain more of that, but the MRI hopefully will give me some positive results, so we'll see how that turns out. But part of what I wanted to talk about with the Flesh and Blood world going on at the moment is we've had some articles that have come out. There's been some discussion topics that have changed since the last go-around, meaning that it now looks like, as an example, in Dusk Till Dawn, the serialized cards are now going to be global, which, if you're listening to this, obviously that's old news. So that's nice that they have combined that and made it to where it's not tied behind one specific print run. So obviously they took that feedback to heart and are now executing on that by giving it to both regions. So that's fantastic. I'm very excited to see that. Flesh and Blood's website, fabtcg.com, has restructured some of its lore. They did have an article actually on that, and the article's title specifically calls out that it's called Stories of Legend, and that came out on May 19th, 2023, and it talks about how they have rearranged the Fab website to encompass the lore in a more centric way that can be consumed. I still don't think it's perfect. There's, obviously the side website I like to use, which is legendarystories.net, but they now have a section specifically for stories, for Heroes of Fab, and one for the World of Wraith. And the stories are broken out into calendar years, so 2023, 2022, and then if you go all the way back, it looks like they do have stuff back in 2019, so that's nice. The Heroes of Wraith page obviously does cover the heroes that are in the World of Wraith. They do not necessarily have anything specific to mentioning if a hero has hit Living Legend status on this page at this moment in time. But if you go into the heroes themselves, they do talk about the legendary status. When you go in from the About, Learn, Story, and Legend, you get a link to the Living Legend status. The World of Wraith tab, which is really nice, does go into the sections of the World of Wraith, which is really kind of a tie-in now to me kind of promoting the podcast that we are beginning to spin up. I started this, with another individual almost about a year ago, and he was not available as often to be able to kind of drive that forward. And now life's in a little bit of a different position. So for me, the podcast Fablorian is going to be kicked off, and we're going to be trying to do one of those at least about once a week with Riddler Man and myself. So that's going to be something really exciting because we are really, excited about the lore. We want to dive into that. So, as we have already done our one episode here, it's actually to Solana, which is obviously for the newer set coming out here, Dusk Till Dawn. And the Dusk Till Dawn set will be coming out here very shortly, hopefully. And they have some pre-spoiler seasons that have kind of come out. So if we look at one of these other articles here, there's a new armory call out, and it's the June 2023 Armory. So that was on May 17th, 2023. And they indicate in this armory, they get the really nice playmat. You can see that there are some Flails of Agony cards, which is one of the newly revealed, I guess, weapons for the two new heroes here. And in this case, these are the cold foil versions. Now, there was an interesting video that I think DM Armada and Red Zone Rogue were lucky enough to get I guess a pre-release or an early copy from Dragon Shield of these sleeves that are going to be coming from Dragon Shield. And what's neat about that is it's kind of a new evolution of a way to distribute promos within the game. And it looks like there'll be a rainbow foil in each of the heroes' version of that set, which means that you'll have a either Flail of Agony or the other weapon for the new Prism in those sets. So you'll get those sealed within those 60 card sleeves. So that's an awesome way to see that they're expanding other ways to get promos that you can just buy and getting something nice and foil versus having to win it at an event. But I also like that it's tame, right? You don't have to necessarily buy every promo that is out there, as in they're not forcing you to buy the promos. Apologies, 1 second here. Let's see here. I'm trying to get the name of the other gosh dang it. It's the he just did the video on this. My brain is not completely back to functioning 100% after being sick, so I'm not exactly on top of my mental game, which, you know, for all intents and purposes, it kind of sucks. But, you know, it is what it is. Let's see here. Boy, oh boy. I'm actually going to go to DM Armada. Yeah, buddy. You're the one that has it. There it is. The future of Flesh and Blood sleeved cards. So its Flail of Agony is in the Vincent one, and in the other one it's a Luminaris. I don't know why did I not know it was Luminaris? It's Luminaris Celestial Fury, and they are just in those packages, so that's kind of neat. Anyways, we're going to move on to the next topic here. So we've talked about the Armory promos, we've talked about some of the restructuring of the lore site, Fablorian, the podcast. One of the other articles that have come out is Ashes to Ashes. That's another article that came out, and I believe that the Ash to Ash article is kind of indicative of some interesting unique writing that's coming. And these little articles give some insight into, I guess, ways to build decks that are not necessarily hyper competitive, but give you some ways to look at examining different card combinations. So I felt like calling that article out because it was kind of neat. And another good article here that they did come out with is called Read Between the Lines by Tariq Patel, and that was on May 12th, 2020. And again, that goes into card evaluations. There is some reading the signals of what other people are playing, as well as getting or sending the signals, as it's stated in this article, to basically kind of maybe throwing your opponent off and then trying to tie that all together. So those were kind of some nice reads within there. Now, that leads me into the final 3 spoilers that I guess have come out. They're like pre-spoilers for the Dusk Till Dawn season. Flukenbox had his first one there, which is the Chorus of Iron Song, and that is actually pretty cool to see that card came out, and that is a specialization card. Now, what's neat about the specialization cards is that, really, specialization cards obviously are specializations for their respective heroes, but it does give us kind of some insight into maybe what they might be doing with the supplemental set that we didn't think was really happening. And that's exciting for a lot of reasons, because the actual cards that are coming out, so again, Prism Advent of Thrones is one hero, you have Vincent, which is another hero, and the cards such as the Choir of Iron Song, the Starstruck card, which is a second one, the Eloquence token, and I believe the third one here, let me get my notes pulled up, is Anthem of Spring by Nathan from Nathan TCG. So these particular cards, as well as the Archangel of War Belladonna, all of these combine to provide some insight of the direction of things that they're trying to go with this set. And that could be that they're going to sprinkle in some specializations, because now that Shiana appears to be coming in this set, at least that's what I'm banking on, because there are specializations for existing heroes, but now they're also kind of showing up in different respects. And by the way, if you don't know, you can go to fabre.net and look up the Dusk Till Dawn. It's at the very top. Excuse me. And this currently will show all the cards that are out there. And right now there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. There are 13 cards that have been revealed for this. Again, we mentioned Belladonna earlier. There is now Anthem of Spring. That's a Briar specialization. Starstruck is the Bravo specialization. And Chorus of Iron Song is the Dorinthia specialization. And then Alluring Inductment, I can't even say that properly, is the Shiana specialization. Then you have two heroes, Prism and Vincent, then you have their two weapons, and then we have a rainbow pitch here of Phantom, Banshee, as well as Eloquence. Now, one new mechanic that was introduced is something called Unity. And Unity is really a very interesting take, in my opinion, on a way to incentivize blocking. Because typically right now, especially with aggro style builds that I'm kind of listening to and watching games, there's really no reason to block. But these cards are almost allowing the game to slow back down and have that give and take, the yin and yang that most people enjoy with the game of Flesh and Blood, because now these Unity tokens or these Unity blocks are going to give you things. So Starstruck gives you a Surge token. Chorus of Iron Song gives you a Courage token. Anthem of Spring gives you an Earth token. And the Alluring Inducement gives you an Eloquence token. Now, the Eloquence token is a brand new token, and it says when you play a non-attack action card, destroy this and the card gains Go Again. So the only one we don't really know what it is the Courage token at the moment. But really, let's say they release one of these for every hero. So now you have a Mechanologist, or class. Let's go class, because there could be a Mechanologist one that's going to be coming. There could be an Illusionist one that's coming. They have the flexibility in this set because it's supplemental, it's not draftable. They can do a bunch of really unique things that I think would give different heroes some very unique ways. Now, obviously, this being the second set, theoretically, in the War of Monarch, as we kind of discussed a little bit in our Back to the Fablorian poking here, that podcast, go take a listen to that. And we talked a little bit in depth about some of those topics. But this being the second set, or the return to Monarch, there obviously will be some light, will be some shadows from what we can tell, and it looks like they're going to maybe bulk out those particular type of different, I guess, classes. Now, one of the unique things is that one of my prides is I've been managing a spreadsheet that contains all of the talents and classes and whether or not we have pieces for those classes. Now, as of right now, in my last video I did, which was several months ago at this point, on this topic, we had a shadow leg, a shadow head, and a shadow chest, and we have a light head and a light chest. That gives the ability here to have basically legs and arms in light to be released, as well as an arms in shadow to be released if they were to go down those paths. And that's awesome, because that would fill in some gaps. And because the only legendaries are in the chest slots, they may actually sprinkle in some legendaries. But there are, if I remember right from Dusk Till Dawn, 8 legendaries in that set. So there is this kind of possibility that they may have legendaries that don't even relate to the actual class that is being targeted, which may be a good thing, actually. As in, it may be that the particular what's the right word I'm looking for here? The heroes that are front and center in this set for Dusk Till Dawn may actually not be the ones that are where all the legendaries are focused. I mean, they don't have to, but there could be some precedent here with other sets that they are going to spread the love and give out some other cards. And, you know, looking at how the set breakdown is, if I remember right, let me go to marketing assets here. And the product sheet one more time. Did they actually take it down? Oh, they put the product sheet back up finally. Nice. Here for a while, this product sheet was taken down. I don't quite know why. But, sorry about that. So, because the pre-release is on July 7th through the 9th, that is basically 1 month when this will be released, and the actual release date is July 14th, there are 8 legendaries, 56 Majestics, so between those, like I said, they could really fill in some gaps in some other sets, but, you know, stained glass is a big trend. There could be some cool stained glass. I really hope there's a stained glass Marvel. I think it would be a huge miss if they didn't have a stained glass Marvel. I really hope that the legendary in this, I'm sorry, the fabled, I really hope the fabled is a landmark. That'd be awesome. Now, I know that that's typically like a one-of type card, but, you know, I think it would mean a lot more if it was something that was not a reprint of a staple card, such as like Art of War or something else along those lines. But again, you know, this set is also going to be released in English, Spanish, German, French, and Italian, so there's going to be a plethora of variety of languages, which they did in the, again, Outsiders release. So now they're really truly doing global. Now this does not have the Japanese print in it yet because they, I don't believe, are in that market just yet. But with the MSRP of $110, you know, obviously it's just like it basically just like Dynasty. So maybe, again, they don't really talk about, I mean, they do say 10 marvels. So maybe those 10 marvels are the 10, you know, I guess, for lack of a better word, angels, maybe? I really hope that they do something fun. I have pretty good, you know, trust in what they're going to do. So I guess for now, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I know it's a little bit short, so to speak, or at least from my perspective, it's short. I have a lot more things I'd love to talk about, but back to my voice not being super fantastic at the moment, I can already tell I need to take a break from this. I am definitely going to attempt to try and get some more audio type content / video content out here soon. I believe we're going to have another filming of the Fablorian podcast here. So I'm going to take some meds and hopefully be on the mend. And I really hope to see you in the next video. So until next time, thanks. And again, you know, there are a lot of content creators out there putting out some good stuff. So try and watch some of it. I've been listening kind of on the back end. So even though it may not look like I'm really participating all that much, I'm definitely keeping up with the current trends and trying to participate where I can. So, all right, guys, until next time, may your games be fun and your friendships grow. Cheers.